And do you have a message in a bottle? Also, do you want to let some message? Something?
A message in a bottle.
Yes.
Don't wait for the right moment. Now is the right moment. Yesterday was better than tomorrow. So whatever you want to do, if you want to come to Barcelona, come to Barcelona. If you want to go and spray paint your neighbor's house, go and spray paint your neighbor's house. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it.
Great.
First of all, thank you very much, Annalisa, for having me on your channel. Hola, everybody in Brazil, from Barcelona. So, my name is Luke. I'm originally from South Africa. I grew up in Johannesburg. And in Johannesburg, when I was growing up, I was in the world of graffiti. I mean, it was just part of my culture growing up. And so I decided to move to Barcelona when I was 21. I had always been in love with art.
Very young.
Very young,
Yeah, big.
Yeah. Young, and I was innocent until I came to Barcelona. So, and then you come to Barcelona and you just see that there's so much urban art all over the place, and art as well. I mean, the city just has art that comes out of the stone. So I got into doing tour guiding, and along the way I met my partner, who's a girl named Katrina. Katrina is actually the brains behind the whole project. She started the project. And the idea of the project is to connect travelers with the local art scene. So we work with a bunch of different artists and art gallery spaces and studio spaces. And the idea is to bring people over and to introduce them to this world of art, to kind of like get behind the scenes of the art.
Yeah.
There's really cool people. There's a great community. The people are friendly. And so that's what we're trying to do, is to build that bridge. And so, urban art, Barcelona in the 1990s and 2000s was like the street art capital of Europe. So there's a real culture of art and street art here. And it's everything from legal street art to illegal graffiti and everything in between. And art galleries that represent street artists, and there's a really cool community. And so, Barcelona's got a really special scene. And so I would say it's a very integral part of Barcelonian culture. So I wanted to show you guys, I wanted to come and show you guys just around the corner from the gallery. There's a very cool artist studio space that's called Bien Cuadrado, well framed. And it's an artist space where there's 7 artists, and one of the artists is Lara Hoch. And the reason why I wanted to come and show you this is because this is the perfect example of the crossing between so-called fine art or high art and street art. Lara studied at the Barcelona Academy. She paints like beautiful oil paintings. She could paint real life better than real life itself. But she started associating with the guys at Bien Cuadrado who paint out on the streets, and so she's had to learn how to take her painting that takes usually weeks or months to paint and do it in a couple of hours. And so this is acrylic paint done on this door.
So, what's your opinion on the problem of mass tourism in Barcelona and the controversial issues surrounding the topic? Since in one way or another the city has increasingly become a mecca of tourism in the last 100 years, it's preparing to be what it is now. So, we lead to this point because of the history. Do you believe that the precariousness of life in Barcelona is a direct consequence of the impact of the tourism?
Oh, Annalisa, you ask me a tricky question. It's okay. I live in the Gothic Quarter, in the center, and I work in tourism, and I'm evidently not from here. But even for myself, sometimes the mass tourism can create problems. And so it is definitely something that needs to be regulated. But at the same time, it's a good thing and a bad thing for the city because it creates lots of jobs, it brings a lot of money. So many of my friends, so many of the people that I know, if not all of the people that I know, are positively impacted by tourism. And so it's not something that you can just get rid of. So I'd say what needs to happen is what I think is happening is that travelers and tour companies need to move in the direction of sustainable tourism, which means smaller group tours, which means doing more interesting kind of things, and also people that are a little bit more educated about the culture, that aren't just coming here to just come and get drunk and
Crazy.
sangria, yeah. Which is a great part. Don't get me wrong. That's a great part of Barcelona's culture.
Just this.
But you got to know a little bit more. And so I think if people are just a little bit more conscious of their impact, and maybe just a little bit respectful that they are guests in people's homes. But yeah, it's both a real blessing for the city, but at the same time a curse, and it's something that that we all have to take our own responsibility to try and fix, as well as, of course, the government.
Yeah.
So I know also wanted to, in the same square where the guys were painting in Plaza Trippe, there's this really cool piece by Ashwan, which is mounted up against the shutter there. The stuff that Ashwan does is that he does hip-hop lyrics, painted on cardboard, cut out, and then he sticks it to the wall with zip ties, with plastic ties. And so he's not really doing vandalism, but he's not doing art with permission either.
Yeah.
So he's doing it in a cool kind of way that's paying homage to street art, but like putting it on another level. Huge fan of his stuff.
And he's planned true love. I am, isn't it? I am planned true love.
I sampled True Love.
True love.
Like I sampled True
But
Love.
now he's blocked, as we can see it.
Yeah, it's been completely prohibited.
What's going on?
Now they're going to do some construction. There's this flat that's been empty for years that they're going to do some building work in.
Yeah, you know, in Brazil, when there is the picho, in a lot of places, the name is agenda. And
Okay.
agenda is to denounce a place there is not people living, you know?
Uh-huh.
It's really common. Like here, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, and as a street art walking tours, how do you relate the selling art, the act of selling the art, in the gallery, and do you believe that they may be a trap, orchestrated capitalism, social control, in this? Or is simply a way the artists to avoid the finish and earn a living for their lives? Like this polemic, like you need to live, you need to pay the bills, so you need to sell your art, but also the urban art have to be at the streets. But there is a lot of prohibition, so. And also, you are inside the gallery. How do you think about it? Because you are inside the gallery, but you are outside the gallery.
I think that it is a natural progression for the urban art, that it's growing to the point that people would like to pay money to have it in their homes, and artists would like to earn money at the same time.
It is not so expensive.
So it can be. It is very accessible. In this cool Plaza Trippe, there's two really cool artists busy finishing up some shutters. Over here on the right, Rubicon, who's originally from the United States. He paints incredible oil paintings, but he's painted big murals in Lisbon, all around the world. At the moment, we have an exhibition going on by a guy named Conrado Lopez, and he comes from a history of street art. So he used to paint on the streets, but he started getting older, and bills started coming up, and reality starts hitting in, and so he's progressed into creating his a mix between oil painting and street art. So it's a really cool at the merging point of both of them. Mm-hmm. So there are still graffiti writers that don't want to be involved in galleries, and they do that purely for the vandalism, and that's amazing. Anonymous, and that's amazing. That's like the root of graffiti culture. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side, there's artists that actually want to make a living, that actually really want to sell their art. And so I think it's a healthy thing, eh? I think that art should become more and more accessible to all people, and all people should just start to purchase a little bit more art.
So you can have art at the street and your house.
Yeah, exactly. Art just makes things more beautiful, no?
You can breathe.
Yeah, exactly.
How becomes the idea of these walking tours? And how many years are you doing this?
My colleague Katrina saw that there was a lack of high-end art tours in the city back in 2017. So I started working with her in 2019. Then COVID happened, of course, and threw everything in the wind, in the tornado. I left the city altogether and went and lived in a village in the mountains.
Wow.
And I came back 2 years ago, well, the beginning of last year, 2023. And we got together and we decided to push the project once again. And so it's simply trying to show the many different faces of art and trying to get guests to access the world of art that they might not be able to see so easily themselves.
Amazing. And it changed a lot, because 2023 was when it changed the finance, like the control is more crazy. The things about you can do graffiti, not the walls, the government is the owner, but the doors not. And for you, like you go back with the walking tours when it changes.
Well, it kind of goes up and down according to the government that's in charge. If the mayor has a problem with the street art, they're going to crack down on it like they're doing now.
Yeah.
But it might be that the next mayor doesn't, and so it kind of goes up and down. And it's an inevitable thing. You're not going to stop it from happening. Yeah. So it's always going to be there. You tell the graffiti writers to stop writing, and the first thing they want to do is go and spray paint the government. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I condone that behavior, but I'm not saying that I don't condone it either.
We don't judge.
We don't judge, 100%. We don't judge,
Yeah.
100%. But it is cool to see how there are big murals that are being painted in the city. And so there are entities that are trying to push that the art is more all over the place. And I mean, there's cities around the world, Lisbon, Buenos Aires, Miami, that are turning street art into a really big element of their culture. Yeah. So we need to look to them as the model.
This is interesting.
And also something that I think is really cool is that these streets come from the 15th century. This building is from the 19th century. And then there's the very contemporary world of street art that's decorating it. So you've got this colorful contemporary thing in the backdrop of the history, and that's something that gives Barcelona a lot of its character.
Yeah, very cool. Because the doors, you can do it, the walls not.
So you can, the doors and shutters are the owner of the building or the owner of the shop's prerogative, and the walls the government cleans. And so artists will either ask for permission or sometimes don't ask for permission and just come and paint. And so that's why you've got all of the doors that are full of different interesting art pieces.
That's the aesthetic of Barcelona, the doors, the shutters. Nice. So let's see more.
Okay, cool. Come again now.
So can you talk a little bit about those spaces and those festivals and this kind of organization and the importance to the urban art?
There's a handful of entities that are working with the government that are trying to integrate it more and more. So B-murals, Rebobbin art, Street Art Barcelona. I'm sure there's a lot more that aren't coming to my head right now. But they are entities that try and create free spaces. So for me, one of the best, not just for me, for all of us, one of the best spaces in the whole city to see street art is the Three Chimneys, which is an organized project as part of the idea that you're not going to stop the people from spray painting, so give them a nice spot to paint, and every time you go there, there's something cool and new going on. But also they've been painting some cool new murals up along Parallel, which are organized by these entities. So around Drasanes, on Apollo. Yeah. They just recently painted a really cool, amazing mural by Aris. And also along Parallel, and so the guy that runs Street Art Barcelona is organizing some really cool things. And there's even another cool project called Besart that's on the river Besós. That's just on the eastern side of Barcelona. That's for the true diehard graffiti and street art fans that want to go and check that out. It's huge. It's next to a river, and there's these huge walls that they've been given permission, and so it's just pieces of art by international artists. And so this kind of stuff is super important because it gives visibility, the artists make money, it allows the government to understand that it's a really cool thing, and it gives the people freedom of expression. Anybody can just go and paint at the Three Chimneys, which is just such a beautiful concept to think about, that a city has a space where anybody is free to just go and express themselves with paint. So I think that what all of those guys are doing is amazing, and it's a lot of work, and they're putting in a lot of money, and so mad props to all of them. And yeah, they're really pushing the street art community.
Você faz uma divisão muito curiosa, assim, né, de categorias, que seria o artista do grafite, o vândalo, que seria o que faz as tags no trem, no metrô, o artista plástico em geral, né? A gente pode usar como linha divisória a legalidade. Então, no Brasil, a gente tem o grafiteiro e aí a gente tem o pichador. São um pouco diferentes, né? Aqui seria o muralista e o grafite que faz as tags. Então, as multas no Brasil são tão absurdas, né, que a pessoa pode até chegar a ser presa. E aqui a história vai da Era de Ouro, né, com a criação dos sprays da Montana e toda essa elaboração em Barcelona, e até o que a gente tem hoje de multas que podem chegar a 600 euros, né, no patrimônio público. Então, da ascensão da expressão, do pós-ditadura, a proibição que se tem hoje, e mais a busca pelos tours e tal, né, e a venda das artes, gostaria que você falasse um pouco sobre todas essas questões. Can you talk a little bit about this, please?
So, exactly as you say, in 1975 was when the dictator died here in Spain, Francisco Franco, and so it was a very far right-wing controlled state, and the people obviously couldn't express themselves in many different ways. There was music that wasn't coming here. The people were very repressed. So Franco dies in 75, and at the same time in the 1970s in the United States, completely unrelated, we see the rise of graffiti culture in Philadelphia and New York. And this was the youth of the underprivileged areas trying to find a voice to make themselves heard, which grew up into graffiti culture largely as a way of either downtrodden youth getting their name out or gangs trying to get the word around. So then there's this important documentary that comes out called Style Wars. And when Style Wars arrives in Europe, this is in the 1980s, I was born in the 1980s, but people have told me about how there was a huge explosion in the European scene, and so people wanted to start doing this cool thing, graffiti. So in Barcelona, we had the death of the dictatorship, we had the rise of graffiti, and then in the 1990s, they started Montana Cans. Montana Cans was when a bunch of graffiti writers got together and decided to design spray cans specifically for writers. So it was different nozzles, different pressures, different colors, and it was the first one in Europe, possibly the first one in the world, of cans that are directed towards the graffiti writers. So in the 90s and 2000s, people were traveling from all around Europe to come to Barcelona. There wasn't strict laws against the painting, and so you could paint almost freely. So people were coming to buy the cans, they'd be spray painting, they were mixing with the local guys. And so there was this golden age in Barcelona where Barcelona was the capital of graffiti culture, of street art culture. But as always happens, a new government comes in, they don't like it so much, they think that this is creating vandalism and gangs and all of these negative things. Dirtying the cities, absolutely. And all of the negative things that go along with it. So they make it extremely illegal with fines associated, and they start cleaning the whole thing up.
How much does they expend, with this?
How much does that?
Yeah, to clean the walls.
Oh, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but they are like in the millions.
Millions, yeah?
Like lots and lots and lots of money. And so that's when graffiti culture went a little bit underground in Barcelona. And that's when we saw the rise of the different things like the three chimneys and these different concepts. So since then it kind of goes up and down, and like I said, at the moment the government is quite anti-graffiti, and so they're squashing a lot of the stuff that we see. But at the same time there's new projects coming up, and so the whole world is changing, no? The people are creative. If you're going to tell them to stop painting, they're not going to stop painting. They're going to find a different way to paint. But yeah, that's what's cool about Barcelona's graffiti culture. So you say about the distinction between the graffiti and the street art and the pichação in Brazil, which is just one of the coolest and most interesting forms of graffiti. And that's not somebody trying to create something beautiful. That's
Bad
somebody
idea.
trying to
Bad
say,
idea.
screw the system,
Yeah, I'm here.
and I'm here, you know what I'm saying? And so that's one side. And on the other side, there's the people, exactly, the higher the better. On the other side, there's the guys that are doing just really pretty things. And so it's interesting to see how the two worlds kind of mix. In Barcelona, there's a lot of artists that are doing the illegal, screw the system stuff, but then they're also doing the cool, pretty things. And so artists at the moment are kind of walking the line between the two. I mean, Banksy is the most famous street artist, the most famous artist in the world at the moment, who does cool, interesting political art illegally without permission, but in a cool way that kind of is funny and humorous. And so he's just the perfect example of the art phenomenon.
Yeah, you know about the boat of Louis Michel from Banksy? Is
The
a
one that
boat?
was at the festival.
No. When he sells the art 1 million, they destroy it, blah blah. He bought a boat
Okay.
to make to save people in the ocean.
In the Mediterranean, yeah?
Yeah. It's
Refugees
like an
trying to cross into.
yeah. Do you know this project? So the urban art can be also really political, or is something about Banksy more.
Yeah, I mean,
What do you
Banksy does a lot of things that are for bigger movements.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of work to try and raise funds for graffiti writers that have been repressed, for people that have been repressed. And so he's, and not just Banksy, a lot of artists use their voice to express what's going on. And so that's another thing that's cool about graffiti culture.
About Palestine now, a lot of people.
Lots and lots of
stuff.
stuff about Palestine at the
Yeah.
moment. So that's one of the biggest things that you're going to see. And so the people are expressing with their voices how they feel, which is also at the root of graffiti culture, which is also one of the things that makes it a beautiful part of our of humanity.
But can you believe that we live in the same moment that Banksy is alive? Isn't it great?
It is pretty cool. It is pretty
Really,
cool.
it's the same historical moment.
The artist
that
known
his
as
art is
Banksy.
alive. Yeah.
If it's a he, or if it's a she, maybe it's a she.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a group of women.
Yeah,
Who knows?
it's a mystery. It's a mystery.
Or just a group of people. But yeah, no, it is very cool.
Yeah, whatever. That's amazing. So now, I want to do a joke, okay?
Okay.
It's like the trendy.
Vamos.
You have to choose some people, but
Okay.
maybe they have no relation because one is an artist, the other is a football player.
Vamos.
Okay. I know it's your list, so let's do it, huh?
Vamos.
Be quick or be
I'm
dead.
ready. I'm ready.
So you have to choose Nelson Mandela or Salvador Dali.
Nelson Mandela or Salvador Dali? That's a tricky one. It's worth mentioning Salvador Dali is one of my favorite painters of all time. But I mean, Nelson Mandela, come on.
Okay.
It's got to be Nelson. Nelson's going to be quite a few people, eh?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to knock Nelson off the
It's
list.
difficult, yeah. Nelson Mandela or Picasso?
Pablo Picasso, another one of my favorite artists, really interesting, polemic figure. But I'm afraid to say Nelson takes him out.
We are still with Mandela, yeah?
Gotta stick
Okay.
with Mandela.
Mandela, yeah. Mandela or Freddie Mercury?
Freddie Mercury, another legendary person, wow, big name, amazing artist, greatest musician possibly of all history, really moved a lot of things. I'm afraid to say Mandela still beats it.
Yes, go Mandela. Mandela or Messi? He's the Messi.
Lionel Messi. And I know I'm speaking to the Brazilian public. Imagine if I had to choose Messi. No, I gotta
He's
say,
Argentino, huh?
yeah, of course. That's why if I have to choose Messi, the Brazilians are gonna hate me.
Yeah.
No, but
Or not.
of course we love Messi. We love everything. We love FC Barcelona, but still gonna stick with Mandela.
Okay, Mandela or John Lennon?
John Lennon.
Ah,
Okay.
John Lennon. John Lennon or Ronaldinho?
Ronaldinho. You see what I'm saying?
Ronaldinho.
No, I'm not gonna choose Ronaldinho. Let's see.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. For the Brazilian public, I'm gonna go with Ronaldinho on this one.
Really?
Ronaldinho, vamos.
Ronaldinho or Frida Kahlo?
Ronaldinho or Frida Kahlo. Love Frida Kahlo. One of the best artists to come from South America, Central America, from the Americas. I'm going to go with Ronaldinho. Vamos.
Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho or Luis Bourgeois? Bourgeois.
Louise Bourgeois. She's the one that does the really cool spider sculptures. No, I'm going to go with Ronaldinho. Still a cool character.
Ronaldinho's exchange. No, let's see. Ronaldinho or Amy Winehouse?
Ronaldinho or Amy Winehouse? Tell you what, let's go for the woman on this one. Amy Winehouse. She's going to take it.
Yeah, Amy. Amy Winehouse or Vivienne Westwood?
Amy Winehouse or Vivienne Westwood? Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse, okay. Amy or Guia?
Amy or Guia. Changing all over the place here, eh? Amy. It's got to be Amy.
Amy or Hunter Thompson?
Hunter Thompson, the guy that wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He's one of the all-time legends of all time. Gonzo journalism. Hunter Thompson.
Hunter Thompson or Eminem?
Oh, Eminem. Grew up loving Eminem. But no, Hunter Thompson's cooler.
Okay. Hunter Thompson or Nas?
Nas, also amazing artist. No, Hunter Thompson.
Hunter Thompson still. Or Hunter Thompson or Alphonse Mucha?
Alphonse Mucha is one of my favorite artists as well. Really cool dude. But no, Hunter's still cooler, so we're going to go with Hunter.
Hunter, okay. Hunter Thompson or Anthony Gaudi?
Hunter Thompson.
Ooh la la.
Didn't even have to think about it. He's so much cooler than Gaudi.
Yeah.
Gaudi's great, but he's just not a cool dude.
Okay, now the god. And Hunter Thompson or Muhammad Ali?
Hunter Thompson or Muhammad Ali. Muhammad's also a really cool dude. Gonna go with that Muhammad Ali. Vamos. Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali or Pepe Guardiola?
Muhammad Ali or Pep Guardiola. Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali or Banksy?
Oh, Banksy. Oh, Banksy. Vamos.
Banksy is the winner.
Banksy is the winner.
I'm a winner. I know it. So thank you a lot.
You're very welcome.
A lot, really.
Very
and do
welcome.
you want to invite Brazilian people to know your job in Barcelona?
Absolutely. I mean, check us out. We're at ArtSpace Tours. ArtSpaceTours.com is the website. ArtSpace _tours is the Instagram. It's going to be in the links. Come and check out the art scene with us. I mean, just come and check out the Canal Gallery that's here in the Gothic Quarter. Come and meet the guys. The guys are really cool and friendly. Come and say hello. We've got our office space here.
Open doors.
You're going to see Annalisa hanging around here. She likes to hang out here. She's one of the local neighbors. And just come through. Come and check out Barcelona. Come and see the city. Come and check out the street art. Come and do some artwork yourself. And you'll be bienvenidos.
Thank you. And do you have a message in a bottle? Also, do you want to let some message, something?
A message in a bottle?
Yes.
My message in a bottle is going to be, don't wait for the right moment. Now is the right moment. Yesterday was better than tomorrow. So whatever you want to do, if you want to come to Barcelona, come to Barcelona. If you want to go and spray paint your neighbor's house, go and spray paint your neighbor's house. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it.
Great. Thank you a lot.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're very welcome.